Hello, good afternoon. Peace and blessings be upon you. I do thank you for tuning in to Poem Praise 2. And we're going to move right along in the extraordinary African Americans. Right now, we're going to move on to Lewis Hayden. He was abolitionist. There it is. State legislature. The time period is 1815 to 1839, and it reads as such. His mother was so badly treated that she became insane and attempted suicide. His brothers and sisters were sold at an auction, and Lewis Hayden himself was traded for a pair of carriage horses. When he finally escaped, he spent his life trying to free others. Married while still in his teens, Hayden and his 14-year-old wife eventually had 3 children. One child died and another was sold. Although he had several opportunities to run away, it would have meant leaving his family behind. So Hayden waited. Patience. He waited. So there's a benefit in waiting. Just saying. Finally, when his son was 10 years old, Hayden and his family escaped with the help of 2 white abolitionist teachers, Calvin Fairbank and Dela Webster. The Haydens made their way safely from Lexington, Kentucky, to Ohio, and then to Canada. But Fairbank and Webster were arrested and charged with slave stealing. Now, in February 1845, Fairbank agreed to plead guilty if Webster were allowed to go free. So right here, I guess he is doing a plea bargain of some sort. Man, I'll plead to it if you let him go free. Now, I guess it worked. We're going to keep moving right along because Webster was released and Fairbank was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Meanwhile, Hayden and his family moved to Detroit, Michigan, where he established a school for African American children. Hearing of Fairbank's imprisonment, Hayden raised $650 and sent it to his old owner. In return, his owner agreed to petition the governor of Kentucky to free Fairbanks. Now, on August 23, 1849, Fairbank was released after spending 4 years in prison. Hayden then moved his family to Boston, where he became active in the Underground Railroad. His house served as the main Boston station, sheltering hundreds of runaway slaves. Among these runaways were William and Ellen Craft. On the day their owners sent slave catchers to arrest them, Hayden barricaded his house and threatened to blow it up if a slave hunter set foot inside. Like, boom! But, okay, I guess he didn't want to do that. He didn't blow it up. Okay. But it certainly was a good threat. If they step inside, there's something going to happen. So, might want to watch who you're messing with. So, meanwhile, the Crafts escaped to safety, and the slave catchers were forced to return home without them. Now, the following year, Hayden was arrested for helping a slave named Shadrach escape. Brought to trial, Hayden was acquitted after the jury, in spite of strong evidence, refused to convict him. Acquitted because they refused to convict him. Yeah, I'm going to just let that sink in. They refused to convict him. All right, I'm going to keep on going along. I think that sunk in and resonated for a minute. So, now in 1854, Hayden, Reverend Thomas Wentworth Higginson, and a group of 15 white men and 10 black men tried to free Anthony Burns, a runaway slave who was being held in a Boston jail. The men broke down the courthouse door, and a wild fight took place. They were forced out of the building, however, and Burns was returned south to slavery. Now, when the Civil War broke out, Hayden helped recruit African Americans for the Union Army. His son enlisted in the Navy and was killed in action. Hayden spent his later years working for civil rights for African Americans and women. He was elected to the Massachusetts legislature and arranged for a monument to be erected in the memory of the African American Revolutionary War hero Crispus Attucks. Now, I previously let you know some information about Crispus Attucks. Certainly, if you'd like to learn more, just look at Poem Praise 2, scroll through, find him, and you can learn some information about him. So you're going to have to just look it up, all right? But for the rest of this, although there is no monument to Hayden, he, like Attucks, was a true American hero. Well, I certainly like to thank you for tuning in to Poem Praise 2. Next in line that we're going to be talking about is going to be Harriet Ross Tubman, the Underground Railroad conductor. Yeah, the conductor. So that'll be coming up next. And until that comes up, if it certainly be in thy will, I want you to certainly have peace and blessings upon you and your family this day. All right. In a minute, y'all, okay? Okay.